Welcome everyone to the Apex Racing Team and RL eSport Team feature of the pesc eSports Supercup, the Porsche eSports Supercup. Here from Nordschleife tonight, and what a challenge it's going to be for the guys in these Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars battling around Nordschleife circuit. Your normal terrible duo of Lee Thompson and Alex Simpson looking after you again tonight. Alex, like I say, Nordschleife, fancy giving it a run in these cars?
No. That's it. Stream done.
Yeah,
End,
I mean,
finish.
we see so much conversation, don't we, about how I know the kind of the fastest loose rhetoric is a pretty kind of normal one for iRacing, but I feel like that's even more the case for these cars, right? And to try and have to hang on to them as they go, 11, 20 kilometers around the track, it's just it's going to be insane for them, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think I've done this circuit maybe once or twice, like back in the sort of touring car days. I think they did a couple of rounds here and stuff like that. It was just such a tough track, I think, just to kind of get it right lap after lap. Of course, short little races, but it's it's not short, is it? It's long, and you can't remember the track, so really learning it is the kind of key thing. And I think this is one of the few places where you can really tell the drivers, who know this place well. Like track knowledge just makes a world of difference here. I think just looking at what the guys have been talking about in chat and stuff like that this week, that's perhaps not going to be so important this round again, just because of the kind of draft model that we've got with the car right now. So as long as you've got decent enough knowledge, you're going to be able to use that draft to stay in the train. Will people be making some rogue moves a bit earlier on? Jamie in his little video says he'd keep an eye out for that on, I think, probably the last lap. I think we're going to see some sketchy moves, to try and force some position gains and that. So, but yeah, Heuer, of course, massive long straight. There's definitely going to be some stuff going down and on there. So yeah, let's see what we get. It's going to be still going to be fun, I think.
Oh, it's fun, I think, is sure of a word. Like I say, we're going to see some crazy action. So, to everyone out there, if you haven't really been watching our behind-the-scenes, if you like, streams in the previous rounds, we're featuring Apex Racing Team, who you're watching on screen right now, and also our partners RLL eSport, as they compete on board for the whole stream. So we can see, obviously, we've got the guys' cameras all set up in their nice new team gear as well, I might add, Alex, both for the RL guys and for the ART guys. And great that we were able to feature all 5 cars for the first time this season on our stream, and follow them for both races.
Yep, glad that we kind of got that done. Of course, the new sort of direction. So they're not doing even the full GP circuit part of it. So yeah, just the other layout. It's nice to have all the guys on board. Obviously, we know everybody loves watching Jeff and his shorts and all that sort of stuff. Kevin's aboard his lap there. So so it should be good. Like I say, it's nice just to tune back in with Jamie, Jeff, and Johan as well. We thought maybe leaving them alone for a few races would give them a bit of luck, but apparently not. So
No,
you can have a stream as well, boys.
It was a tough round for everyone, really. Last time out at Spa, really, Zach was the only person who managed to get in a couple of good results. He had 2 top 10s between the sprint and feature, but really for everyone else, they got caught up in an instance all the way through 10th and 15th for Kevin in the sprint and feature, 18th and 17th for Jamie, 7th and 28th for Jeff Gassi, and in fact, I take it back. Sorry, Johan did get top 10s as well. I do apologise, Johan. So 9th and 10th. Him as well, currently 20th in the standings. So we got a few top 10s in there overall, but I think the guys were pretty disappointed because they had some strong pace competing at the front, and unfortunately a few incidents really messed things up by the end of the day.
Yeah, again, it's just one of those things, isn't? Unfortunately, Spa again, you're not going to break away or anything like that. So it was very, very close. And yeah, I think perhaps a bit of frustration from some drivers who got collected in earlier instances as well, trying to make their ways back through the pack as well. I think that's really what caught Kevin with Johan and that Charlie move, really. So
Yep.
yeah, that was a bit unfortunate and that. So yeah, Kevin was a bit frustrated because obviously he's not put a foot wrong all season, and the only two that he's really struggled with are meetings where, you know, other people has kind of collected him through, you know, from nowhere as well, you know, from like 2 or 3 cars back. So yeah, yeah, sort of head down for him this week anyway. So yeah,
And
see what he gets on with.
Absolutely, and unfortunately they've already had a little bit of disappointment to start the day off, as they had a tough start to the Sebring 12-hour for the main entry, featuring Johan Half and Michel Constantini. Who else was running in that car? Sorry, Alex, was Kev supposed to be jumping in it later on?
Yeah, so it's Kev and Peter. So the plan was like so obviously Michele put it on pole. I think we were doing quite an aggressive fuel saving strategy, and yeah, so it kind of was backing the pack up a little bit because no one was taking the lead until the 3rd stint. And but yeah, unfortunately they got caught up with a back marker as they were coming back through the field on fresh rubber and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just suspension damage. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame because obviously, yeah, Johan was going to start. Then I think it was going to be Michele and Peter while they were, you know, the boys were doing sort of pesc, and then yeah, Kev was going to essentially, I think, bring it home. So yeah, a bit of a shame. They put a fair bit of effort in, but that's just the way these special events go sometimes. You know, the guys have put boatloads of practice into it, and yeah, you know, the team gets nothing out of it, and some of the drivers don't even get to drive. So yeah, shame.
And so they've moved on from one, you know, epic endurance circuit in North America to, yeah, this absolutely insane, yeah, historic, again, endurance circuit in Germany, of course, of Nordschleife. And we've been riding on board with Kevin so far as he's been putting his opening, well, I'd say opening lap. I guess they've only got 1 lap in qualifying, Alex. So yeah, as he's been putting his lap in, and it just goes on forever. You look at the track map and it seems like it's frozen because the car's not moving, but no, it's trickling around the circuit. He's only you know, quarter of the way around pretty much since we started talking almost. And yeah, as I said, you couldn't really think of a more unique circuit than the Nordschleife, as it's deep in the forest, such a tight sections of a circuit in some places where it really does get, you know, super narrow for modern high performance racing cars. You know, unique with the cambers and, you know, a couple of carousels, and the main thing is it just goes on forever. So I mean, what do you think their mentality is today, Alex? I mean, you're saying about, you know, the draft train that they're expecting, so I feel like it's just a matter of surviving through kind of quote unquote the infield, i.e. 99% of a lap, and just being in the train right for the Doshinger Straight.
I think there'll be an element of that. I mean, certainly they'll be looking for little mistakes, you know, where people little lock up here, just overdrive it into some corners there, you know, to try and pick up those places where they can, because as Jamie was saying, there really isn't a lot of time. So, you know, if you get a good run because of a mistake, you've got to take it. But yeah, but also they're going to be quite cautious because as big as this circuit is, it's super narrow.
Yeah,
you know, it's really difficult to overtake, so they're going to be a bit cautious of that, and you know, people are going to want to try and hold onto the draft too wide and things like that, and you can't make mistakes here. You know, if there's a little rub, bit of net code or something like that, then they're going to be in the wall. You know, that's the thing. So they've got to be very, very careful. Just as well, just if the guys are wondering why we're looking at solid Kevin and Jamie in the little mini view, it's just because we're in as spotters. So during qualifying, of course, we can only focus on the cars that we're actually joined on. So I'm sure you will be swapping around afterwards. Sorry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, good to see that we can see all the guys hard at work as in their webcams anyway. You can see the strength of force feedback that they're all running. At a glance, Johan looks to be really kind of hanging on around those corners. You can see the impacts of wheels putting through his arms and his shoulders. It's yeah, it's crazy how high these guys crank their force feedback up. You obviously see lots of the conversations that go on in the academy Discord as the coaches are trying to give as much information as they can to the academy members, and it just comes up a lot. You guys run such high force feedback, and yeah, they run it as high as they could possibly cope with, as high as they think they can hang on to for the length of the race that they're going to be running, so that they get maximum feeling, depth, precision through the wheel of what's going on in the sim. Because of course that's the only that's the only physical response they're getting from the game. Otherwise, it's just what their eyes and ears are seeing and hearing.
I chuckle. I mean, there's two points that come to my mind there. Obviously, I remember that they found some time with one of the academy guys, like half a second a lap, just by adjusting his force feedback settings. Just shows the importance of getting them dialed in right. But also, I remember when I first started this sim. Back in sort of like the World Championship NASCAR days, they were the guys were running force feedback turned off. Like they'd had it off because they were quicker with it, because they didn't want the feelings and things like that they got with like the G27s back then and stuff like that, and how it's changed now, because actually the direct drive wheels are so responsive, they're so quick at giving you the information. It is actually useful in terms of being able to drive the car on the edge, where the settings were just useless previously. Just how our hobby sport has changed. I mean, it's changed from a hobby to a sport as well. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you certainly can't call what the guys are doing at the minute a hobby. They're out there competing for a total prize fund of $200,000 for this Porsche eSports Tag Heur Supercup. And I mean, 4 of the 5 guys that are running out there today are full-time professional sim racers. So yeah, it's 4 of the 6. So it's like I say, it's seriously gone from a hobby to a sport, as you say.
So some times coming in now. So yeah, Johan looking like he's P6, Jamie P9, Jeff is 10th. I don't think Zach has finished. He still looks like he's running. Kev, who we're on board with, obviously reset his lap, so he'll be towards the end of his one.
And very much at the end as Kevin crosses the line and jumps up to 9th. Yeah, so not too bad. Showing scrapes into the top 10. So we've obviously got 7 or 8 more times still to come in. All of our guys have put their laps in now. So currently Johan P6, Kevin in 9th, Zach in 10th, Jamie 11th, and Yassi 12th. So actually very similar to what we saw last week at Spa, Alex, where
quick Jeff Shorts. I missed them.
Where all 5 drivers, Alex, are like right on top of each other. They're all within half a second, the 5 of them. So I mean, I just kind of went, oh, they're just half a second, but half a second over an 8-minute 20 lap. I mean, it's crazy for 5 drivers to be within that range.
Jamie practicing some starts. But yes, on your point, absolutely ridiculous how close they are over this circuit. It's insane. I hate to say it, but Jeff's not wearing anything exciting this week. So
right,
he's let us down.
Yeah, still waiting for a few. Right on cue. I was going to say, still waiting for a few Commander boys to put their times in, and right on cue. As I take that breath, Josh Rogers jumps to the top, half a second clear of his teammate Dane Warren in second at the minute. So Josh, he's just on it week in, week out. Really, he has the pace on the field for the most part. But
he's the man at the minute.
Yeah, so we've still got Charlie Collins to put his lap in as well. We'll see where he pops in. But currently, 4 of the top 6 spots taken up by Commander again. They've got their sets / driving styles just absolutely dialed in, and bang, there goes Charlie Collins in 6th as well. So 6 of the top 7. 5 of the top 6 even. Commander.
Yep. Yeah, very good. Every week, listen to me nailing it. I mean, I think really quali is the one place as well you can really sort of maximise this season in terms of like whether your setups on point, your tyre strats and things like that kind of on point, and warming them and how you want to do. And yeah, they're showing what they're doing out there as well. So yep, got to give credit where credit is due, and yeah, Josh, absolutely absolutely awesome lap, and yeah, got to give credit to Seb as well, you know, because he's the one that seems to
Yeah.
be able to mix it with those boys week in week out as well. So
Yeah, absolutely. I say
where's his teammate?
that's what I was going to say. Certainly, the only Red Bull car. You know, he's
Yeah.
just on his own, frankly, running at the front with the Commander guys all just surrounding him. And again, just to, not that I want to harp on about Commander too much, kind of pantomime villain booing and hissing in the background type of thing. But there was grumbles and murmurs at the start about the problems that we had in qualifying with different strange tire warming techniques and things, and Commander seemed to have found a trick on that. I mean, all of that is basically gone now, and certainly at such a long circuit like Nordschleife, tire warming would have had a negligible impact, and they're still 5 or top 6. So clearly, like I said, they're just doing a better job than everyone else, regardless. So cars are starting to grid up. Just to confirm where the guys did finish up, Johan is starting from 8th, Kevin in the RLL car in 12th with Zach right alongside him, or behind him, depending which way he was going to end up. Behind in 13th, Jamie then in 14th, and Jeff Gassi a row back in 16th. So yeah, 8th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 16th for our guys. And only a few minutes to go.
It's a good camera, do we reckon?
Maybe maybe Jeff, and then you can see all the boys ahead.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go with Jeff for the start, shall we?
So 3 laps, as we can see as well. Like I say, super short race in terms of lap count, right? Revs are up.
Yeah, come on, boys. A little bug from Jeff there, but seemed to get away okay. I think that was Zach having a little look on Tommaso.
Zach's going up the left. Yeah, he's making a couple of spots. He's trying to go around the outside.
Yeah, Jamie on the inside. That's going to cut back. Oh, someone around. That was an Apex car around. It's Johan.
Yeah, Johan.
Oh, for God's sake, Johan and his luck. Everyone else seems to have got through that, I think. But yeah, Johan. Let me just quickly switch back to Johan.
Kevin's falling back.
Oh,
Kevin's gone.
Looks like Johan got slowed down.
And
Kevin's out.
So Kevin's gone.
Oh.
And then there were 3. So yeah, 5 to 3 in a couple of corners. I'm
gonna look back at what happened to Johan and to Kevin, I think. Yeah.
So whilst Alex gets that queued up, so Jamie managed to jump ahead of the guys a little bit there through that chaos. So he's managed to pick his way up to 9th, Zach 11th, Jeff 12th. So that's our focus now as we
see the little mini one.
Cool. See,
he just pulled over with damage. Yeah, he just pulled over. He got damage with the Johan one, with the checkup at turn 1. So let's take a little look at.
See what happened with Johan initially.
The green flag, and then let's take a little look at Johan.
But the guys are coming out of the GP circuit now out onto the Nordschleife for the first time. Of course, they're using the combined track tonight. Share has the GP circuit and the true Nordschleife in there as well. All right, let's look at the replay. Stuck in the middle, isn't he? And just got turned from behind, does he, Alex? You got a better view of it than I do.
I think so. It's tough to tell, actually.
I mean, it was a difficult position to be in, wasn't it? You know, he's in the middle, going into turn 1, lap 1, cars on each side of him. It's a risky place to find yourself, unfortunately.
I'm gonna wind it back and have a little look. Why not? It's just nowhere to go there as well. Not sure he did.
No,
it's hard to tell. Yeah, I'm not sure. There's a few people spinning there all at the same time, so don't know. Maybe some weird netcode stuff going on.
Well, we will look at that maybe in a bit more.
Yeah, once we're back and can bring it up on the full screen, exactly.
Yeah. But meanwhile, I've been keeping on the time in town. It seemed pretty status quo through the opening part of Nordschleife. You can see in the track map there, just in the top right-hand corner of opening lap now. Instantly just checking on other guys. We can see on the timing screen on the left there that Josh is still P1 72. They're showing as gained a spot though, so that's over Dane Warren, of course. So Dane started second, didn't he? So he's dropped a few positions. De Jong third, Boussalut fourth, and then and then back to our guys from ninth, as we saw.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Dane. Yeah, let's just
not a big incident, I guess. Only 3 spots lost. Just got shuffled back slightly.
Just have a little look at Zach. See how he's doing. Kev looks. Yeah.
Just stuck there, having to wait now. At least,
of course. That's the worst thing about.
Yeah,
exactly. So what's the feature 5 lap's going to be today? I think.
Sounds right.
It was 5 last time. Yeah, like you say, you just got to sit there and wait, see what happens. It's such a good round here last season as well. So I think he was looking forward to this. But yeah, Zach's got Tomas ahead of him, so he's tucked up behind Flute, who in turn is tucked up behind Backham. Definitely needed a different graphic in the little left-hand box today, Lee, you know, because obviously that tracks the time delta lap per lap. But, you know, it's barely going to change this race.
A long time on this
one.
Yeah,
that's that one up.
But, seeing the guys working their way through the forest. Of course, Nürburgring is going to be the venue for Sim Racing Expo again this year, which we saw announced last week, I guess it was now, Alex.
It was last week, yeah.
Fingers crossed that does go ahead as planned. You know, it feels
I really hope it does.
A bit optimistic, unfortunately, with some of Europe going a little bit backwards with the pandemic and stuff. I was kind of a bit surprised when they announced it, but yeah, like I say, fingers crossed by the time we get to second week of September, I believe it is, then yeah, should be good to go. It'd be good to be back there after having a year off last year, of course.
I mean, it might be controversial to say, but I think if it was being held in England or UK, I think it would happen. Although I don't think anyone from outside would perhaps be able to get there unless they're going to go into still quarantine for a couple of weeks or something.
2 weeks
so
first.
yeah, so that's a bit of a shame. Yeah, I'm not sure. September is still quite a way away. Maybe Europe or get in gear with their vaccination program and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, what a crazy world we live in. We're going to do that. But yeah, fingers crossed anyway. So if it happens, I think we're going to try and be there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we already been having a little bit of a talk in the background about what our presence might be, and yeah, it could be interesting to see where that ends up. And like I say, fingers crossed. The main thing is just that the event happens, because we had a great time in 2019, of course. Guys competed in a few events, did pretty well, and just generally, I think enjoyed watching the action and working around the exhibitors. And just think, Alex, since summer 2019, how much, certainly in iRacing and the sim racing industry in general, how much it's grown and become more professional since.
Oh, it's just a different.
We're gonna see a
level,
great
really.
event, hopefully.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it's it's very much now just like I say, taking a complete step forward. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they put on. It's going to be bigger and better, I'm sure.
Check in with Jamie. Seems to be losing a little bit of ground on Mac here.
Yeah, it just dropped off a little bit, like you say. So the guys are all still sort of within a second of each other, but like I say, yeah, just a couple of gaps just spreading out a little bit more. You can see that obviously you're on board with Jamie in a minute. You can see that Tatel's still right on his gearbox the whole time as you're watching this onboard camera, and Zach just keeping a very close eye behind.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out, Johan is still going, but he's right at the back of the pack. So, and this pack literally ends at Johan. So, it's tucked up behind Jamie. So,
yeah.
And is the Jamie trained?
Yeah, well, exactly. It is very much just one long train, isn't it? So again, looking at our timing screen, I've only got 2-3 gaps that are showing in white. Everything else is just red, orange, and yellow, which means they're within a second. Johan is maybe called it a day now. Alex is showing grayed out on my timing screen now. Yeah, and I see his hands off the wheel on his webcam.
Okay, yeah.
So no, don't.
Yeah,
don't
he's
blame
probably
him,
got enough damage that he's not going to make
exactly.
any moves or anything like that.
Yeah, and it's of a place to have to limp around with a damaged car. Nordschleife is right at the bottom of a list of a track you want to be trying to do that on. But so that's lap 1 completed, guys. Like that's
Seb maybe having a little battle at the front just for a second.
Yeah, having a little sniff, and Tatella on Fluke as well.
Yeah.
Fluke gave him tons of space, but Tatella actually never got close.
Oh, Zach on the inside,
Campbell,
go on!
Yeah, Zach very opportunist there. Saw that gap was going to develop. Got his car into position early. Still side by side. Zach's going to have a high ground on this left-hander, then it's going to switch back to the right. Tatella carrying good momentum, and I think Tatella's just going to hang in there. What sort of drive is that going to get off the corner?
That's pretty good.
It's going to be. Yeah,
Jamie stays to the left. We should.
Yeah, bit of a toe.
Again, to get to the hairpin though, it's all going to be Tatella surely. Track out wide, please.
Yeah, still side by side. Zach, I think, should have it sorted now. He's got the high ground through his super fast chicane. Tatella surely can't stay on the outside. He doesn't see in the mirror. He slots in behind. So that took good 30-40 seconds. I hear Tatella on the right again though. Yeah, so I think Zach struggled on the chicane right. He had a little step.
I think it was just a bit tight, wasn't he? And still he's round the outside.
Wow. Fair play to Tatella. Then they came back. I thought the position was done, but no, got it back in there. So all to do again for Zach, and of course during that they've lost good half second plus to second plus to Jamie. Yeah,
Jamie, appreciate that. I think actually, you know.
Yeah, concentrate on pulling that gap now to back him in front of him.
Has Kevin's car just got himself repaired, or is he? No, just spectating someone else. Yeah, so Zach's got Daniel Lafuente and then Jeff behind him. Yeah. Daniel's had a shocking season as well. I don't think the Williams boys will mind me saying his luck has probably been on par with some of our lads, I think.
Yeah, I think Johan has certainly given him a good run for his money, at least. We know that for sure.
Oh, on the limit there, Zach. Just tell everybody that's watching as well, on all of our channels as well. We're pumping it out on loads with restreams, so thank you very much for tuning in. If you've got any questions for me and Lee, some insights of the team or anything like that, let us know. We'll try and answer questions as best we can. Dennis, hello, thank you. One of our Apex Racing TV broadcasters tuning in on the action.
Yeah, and we feel, in terms of those questions, Alex, we feel probably best placed to try and answer anything that viewers might be interested in. Certainly about our guys. We've known all these drivers. Well, I mean, Jeff Gassi, of course, is a recent signing, but basically everyone else we've known for a number of years. If you don't know, Alex is the... what made-up title do you want to give yourself, Alex? CEO, Managing Director of Apex Racing UK, and it's been his vision that's basically helped get the guys to this level where they can put in the time and the practice that they need. They've got the funding that they need to run in pesc, and I've been working with Alex trying to build up all our different brands. We have obviously Apex Racing team who we're following here today. These guys are all coaches for the Apex Racing Academy, where you can get data packs, coaching sessions, one-to-one coaching sessions or group sessions, track guides, setup guides. Heading nearly to the 1,000 mark in the number of active members that we have in the academy over there, so that's going pretty awesome. And then as Alex said, we've got Apex Racing TV, which is where you're watching. That's obviously all part of the same family still. Apex Racing League running a number of private leagues. As Jeff has a big sideways moment, and and then SDK Gaming, which is what's providing you with the majority of the graphics that you're seeing on screen. So it's all kind of Alex's little empire that we've built up over the years to have this kind of fully funded professional race team.
Thank you very much, Lee, for that. Pay you later.
Yeah, well, you're correct, you will be.
Thanks, Sam, as well. Yeah, sending the love on the chat. We're just watching Jeff actually, because getting a better view of perhaps him and Zach going side by side.
Zach's under pressure. Yeah.
So, yeah, Daniel. Like I say, he hasn't had the luck, but he's going to push it, I think, a little bit. So, that's what teammates are for. Look, just pulled out of that. Williams, he's kind of sensible behind, is he? Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, sensible enough. So, yeah, I don't know if Zach got a little bit out of shape there. Obviously, we jumped off him to have a little look at Jeff.
Yeah, I think I think he must have just struggled mid-corner and like I say, just a bad part of the circuit as well, where actually there was a little bit of space for Daniel to try and get the run and build up that momentum slightly, and yeah, eventually made the spot. And obviously, again from the start, there's not been many changes of position, so yeah, unfortunate for Zach to lose out on that one. But yeah, Jeff staying tucked in behind. Jamie's not really managed to close up on Matt Backham ahead. He's still 1.4 off, but he is being closed on by Tatella just a little bit more. We know how much Zach and Tatella dropped off earlier on, so yeah, it looks like Jamie's just slowly being reeled in from behind, I think.
Yeah, hopefully, well, yeah, kind of, I think Jamie needs that draft, so if he loses that, then definitely Tatella's going to be right on him in no time, so, yeah. It's always the tricky thing to set the car up round here, isn't it? Because you can give yourself a bit more overall downforce, and you're extremely quick through this infield, but then when you're on the long straights and the fast sections, that's when you kind of lose time. So I think I remember the guys saying last year they felt like they had a little bit too much downforce, so they weren't able to make moves on the straights, and other people were kind of coming by them because they were essentially being held up in the infield section. They couldn't go any faster through the corners with the downforce levels that others had. So it is that balance that you've kind of got to get. So. And
it's important as well not to get tied up in the kind of the ultimate numbers, isn't it? You know, you can look there and do all the numbers and go, okay, this amount of downforce is going to give us the optimal lap time, and then, like you say, come the race, you actually can't use that lap time because you're stuck behind the cars down around the corners and can't get past them on the straight. So it's a real tricky compromise to make, not just on the circuit, but on the race situation you're actually going to find yourself in. How are you going to treat it? Are you going to hang in there in the corners, try not to drop too far off so you can get the run on the straight, or vice versa? So let's see how much of a run Zach can get on La Fuente.
I reckon the gearbox was high enough that they weren't going to peak out this time. Maybe you're right.
Yeah, it's going to be very close. He's not really catching very quickly at all, and yeah, just ran out of straight after all that. It just shows, I mean, they're doing 160, 170 mile an hour.
Like, so I was trying to bring the dashboard up to see the speed. Oh, that's a bit deep from Zach.
But yeah, if you're doing 165, 170, then actually, no matter how much draft you got, there's just not going to be a huge amount more left in it.
Oh, once again for the front. What a look. Jamie has caught up onto the back of Tommy.
Yeah, it must have been a bit of it. Oh, so Tommy has lost that spot then, because it was Matt Backham.
It was Matt,
Jamie was following. So yeah, a little bit of happenings further up on that lap. Nothing changed on the leaders, so it looks like it was just Backham and Osgaard.
Or Johan.
We had a couple more cars drop out on that lap as well, so I'm seeing Castrolado out, Lockwood out, and Josh Thompson out as well, now joining Johan and Kevin.
I don't know what happened to Sanchez as well. Obviously, we're part of the MSI group that we have our alliance with, so yeah, not a great day.
I'm talking about great days, Alex. Obviously, we're here partly representing Rahal, Letton and Lanigan with the RLL eSport teams. I have to hang my head in shame I didn't actually catch the result of the iRacing IndyCar Challenge earlier in the week. How did Takuma get on as you were looking after the broadcast for him on the RLL Twitch and YouTube channels?
Yeah, so he come home P4.
Okay, good.
Which is kind of where he qualified. But yeah, it was a race in terms was all about the fuel numbers, like who could manage the fuel best, and like Sage Cam, he was absolutely on it and was able to really get the numbers absolutely bang on. It just seemed to be in that draft, saving loads of fuel in the first inning. He was third, Sage was, and Sato was just behind him, but the dirty air was really sort of restricting him from following close enough, and I think yeah, we just needed to manage the fuel in the first stint a little bit better, and I think we might have had a chance for a podium. Yeah, had to pit a couple of laps early, so, and then had to go on super save for the last stint. So, but no, it was an interesting race, and it was, I think he was battling his old teammate Connor Daly, and then we had Fittipaldi as well that he was having a good little battle with right at the end on the last lap for the final position of the podium. So yeah, good race, and yeah, I hope he has some success in the actual season that comes on. But it's great to work with him as well, because true professional, you know, to do the stream and all that sort of stuff and whatnot. Yeah.
And it seems like, you know, as much as I'm sure for some of the IndyCar drivers, they kind of look at what they're being asked to do with this, and their interest levels may differ between the drivers. It certainly seems that with Takuma, for instance, once he actually starts running, that competitive spirit just gets in there. And I saw his disappointment in round one at Montreal after he got taken out, and yeah, you can really see how no matter what they're doing, the guys at the top of their level, they don't like to lose.
Yeah, no, never. Is Jim going to be able to get anything done on Ostergaard? I'm thinking probably not. I think Mac will be able to pull him along. But yeah, certainly this little group have got no draft ahead now, because yeah, Diego Pinto, who is on the back of the front pack, is definitely gone. So
yeah, whatever happened between Backer and Ostergaard, yeah, just dropped them way completely off the pack, isn't it? So yeah, 3 seconds back they are. So yeah, it's split in. That's our first split really in the field. Yeah, top 5, and then top 6, and then yeah, back from there. So yeah, we'll see how that affects things as they head down the final straight. We're on the final lap, of course. We can see on the track map they still got a good 2/3 of the lap still to go before they reach that big opportunity for the draft. And that time around, Zach Campbell just struggling a little bit off the corner and lost a bit of time to La Fuente in front as well. Jeff Gassie's just been sort of sitting behind Zach pretty much the whole time after there was that little bit of battling with La Fuente. Jeff had a little bit of a sniff, but otherwise just settled back to second behind. But he's still got close proximity from David Williams for VRS Clander behind him to keep an eye on as well. So not an opportunity for any of these guys to rest, whether it's the circuit or the track.
Did he go for it?
Luke, yeah.
He is going for it.
Trying to hang around to that outside still. Oh, we had to lift. That was unfortunate for Jamie there. Lucky maybe to not have the big issues. Obviously a little bit concerned that he was running out of track with that big lift. But yeah, big effort from Jamie there. He's got a good run again on Mac. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. He's feeling racy, it seems, for sure.
Yeah, of course the thing is Tommy's always going to lift because it's his teammate ahead of him, you know. Or he's got to put him under the pressure, one of the two, you know. And I think, yeah, you've got to try and have a little look. But of course he's got to keep an eye out for Tomas behind, because yeah, he'll certainly have a go. And La Fuente has caught up with this little group as well and brought Zach and Jeff with them. So yeah, this gaggle is back together. We'll stay with Jamie though.
Yeah, I think that's definitely, like you say, the opportunity for a move that's going to be coming sooner rather than later. I'm just keeping an eye on Zach Campbell a little bit further back, like you say, just to see how this group develops. But yeah, Jamie is is either going to have a move put on him anytime soon by Stella, or needs to try and make another move on Forsgaard anytime soon. Like I say, even though Matt Backham not running the traditional VRS Coanda colours in that nice Lego.
I was about to say, you got to like the Lego
livery. Yeah. But yeah, still part of that family is Mac. In case you're wondering why Alex was talking about teammates, but they're running different liveries.
It's worth pointing. Oh, Tommaso down, dropping down the order. So it's La Fuente behind now. Bit of a gap, 1 second now. So Fluke's got a little bit of breathing room, but he lost a little bit of time there himself.
Yeah, well, somehow both missed it as we were watching timing screens and monitoring what's going on. But Zach almost running out of road as we are watching him a little bit behind. He went super deep into the right-hander, and how he kept it off the grass, I don't know. But fortunately, didn't really lose too much time, still within a second of La Fuente.
Seb 0.4 of a second as they come onto the bottom. No, I don't know if he's going to get Josh here. It's coming down though pretty rapidly.
Yeah.
Back 1/10 of a second between them.
Close.
Here we go.
I wonder if Seb's just been biding his time all race long.
Yeah.
There he goes.
Mitchell going by Rogers as well. Yeah.
Both.
Sitting duck at the front here, I feel.
Yeah.
So Tommy's just sort of pushing Mac, it would seem. I think they're going to hold on. I don't think Jamie's going to get there. Yeah, it looks like Seb's going to win this. Mitchell in second, Rogers third. I don't think Rogers will care too much. He's got enough of a buffer over those guys. Mitchell not quite going to get Seb. What a great race that must have been at the front. But Jamie's going to hold on for his top 10, 9th place. He needed some luck here. And yeah, he got that. Zach comes across. Jeff finished it as well, 12th, Zach in 11th, so good points haul for those boys.
Wow. So yeah, bit of intrigue there at the very front after Josh was just sat P1 from start to almost to finish, and yeah, it'll be interesting to hear what Seb says to the guys after. Yeah, he must have just been happily sitting there, just knowing that's fine. I can get you on the final time when we come down the straight, and yeah, happened exactly as planned. Yeah, interesting that De Jong nipped by Rogers as well there. So, Seb's obviously doing a fair bit of recovery work still to try and get back into some form of championship battle, but I dare say Josh Rogers would have wanted to have kept those second position points.
I'm sure. Least. Yeah, I'm sure he will have done, but to be completely honest, the gap is quite large, and if Rogers is able to consistently get podiums, one or two places behind Seb for the rest of the season, Seb is not going to catch him. I think that is that. Those early rounds for Seb really cost him. I mean, he's still going to end up with a really strong championship. Possibly top 3, which is a decent amount of prize money, has to be said.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, of course, it could quite easily switch. I mean, now I think Kev's going to have had 2 bad weeks in the bounce. He was 3rd before Spa, I think 3rd or 4th, something like that, in the championship. Yep. And I dare say he's going to be looking at if this has a shocker here, and it's going to be difficult to overtake. We've already seen this. He could be looking at maybe 6th or 7th in the championship, and he's got to work hard, to try and improve. So yeah. Just gotta have some luck as well in this championship. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I say, Seb's certainly having a bit of a comeback to try and get himself back in the hunt to some degree at least. Yeah, so let's see what the guys can do this time by. I mean, Kevin and Johan. I mean, they just need to try to make a couple of big moves through the GP circuit on opening lap, hope there's a big incident ahead, and somehow get through it all to get to some sort of sensible positions, because they're going to be starting right at the very back of the field. And then, of course, for the rest of the guys, they're just going to have missed out on the reverse grid, right?
Yeah, they will have done. So they're going to have, yeah, like you say, they're going to have a tough job. But they can follow the leaders, you know, perhaps through.
Yep.
So they perhaps won't be under the kind of pressure that they might have been if they were reversed onto the front there. But yeah, so we'll kind of see what happens there. While they're just doing a little bit of sort of warm up again, let's pass it over to our partners, and yeah, we'll check in with Virtual Racing School, the Apex Racing Academy, and SDK Gaming. We'll be back in a moment.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Pekin Freeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Welcome back as the guys finish up their, I hate to call it a warm-up session, Alex, between, they immediately do the sprint race around the Nordschleife in the highest level road racing series that you could do on iRacing, and then they have a warm-up for race 2, hey-ho. But they're almost finishing now, you see you've got 10 seconds left, and then we'll be ready for the feature race. We were just talking earlier that, the guys are just going to have missed the reverse grid. So we'll see how they manage to tag along to the leaders as they push their way forward from sort of, they're going to be like 6th, 7th, 8th as they start to move forward. So maybe Jamie there in 9th can hang on the heels of them. And it's just going to be a matter really of seeing what Kevin and Johan are going to be able to do from 27th and 28th on the grid, Alex.
Yeah, tough one for those boys. I think we're gonna focus on Jeff again. I think Jeff's gonna be a good one to start with.
Yeah. Again, we should have a good view of Zach and Jamie ahead, I would say. Yeah, so just to confirm the starting grid in as I see it on my timing screens, it's come up. Yeah, Ptolemy Arsgaard in pole, Matt Backham second, Diogo Pinto third, Jeremy Zabuslu fourth, Dane Warren fifth, he lost a couple of spots earlier on, Josh Rogers sixth, Mitchell de Jong seventh, Jamie Fluke eighth, and then it's our guys. Sebastian Job eighth, and then it's our guys. Jamie Fluke ninth, Zach Campbell 11th, Jeff Gassi 12th. So yeah, Jamie's going to be following directly behind de Jong and just alongside Sebastian Job.
Come on, Jeff, let's get a good start here.
Revs are up. Good launch off line from Jamie. He's having a little sniff on Seb. Looks like Jeff just dropped back slightly, right? And Jamie's having a look on the inside of turn 1. Everyone survived. Jeff and Zach are side by side. Jeff on the outside. And Zach's just slotted in behind. So all of those 3 guys got through cleanly. Kevin and Johan still 27th, 28th. Yeah,
Jamie got... I thought he got Mitchell. He's around the outside of Mitchell, so he's experienced this, so he'll know what he needs to do. He said it on the other side. Oh no, it's Zach, wasn't it? It was side by side.
Yeah, well, no, no, you're right. Jamie, it's Jamie side by side with de Jong. They're still side by side, and then Gassi got the better of Zach as they come off the corner.
Sorry, I meant in the last race it was Zach who's experienced this. It was Zach who was side by side with what was it? Tatala, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Fluke settles in behind de Jong.
Okay, so survival for the opening few corners, 9th, 11th, 12th for the 3 guys, and like I say, unfortunately Kevin and Johan have just made 0 progress. They didn't move forward a single spot from their 27th, 28th. So we'll see what they manage to do as they get onto the old Nordschleife circuit in a few moments. Looks like there was a bit of movement ahead from Josh Rogers and Seb, so they've both moved forward 2 spots already. Or sorry, 2 for Seb, 1 for Josh.
And we jumped on board with Zach there as well. And just in case you want to know who we are watching, in the sort of top left information box, the green next to the car on the car number, that's kind of who we actually are focused on in this particular case. Yeah, Zach Campbell. We'll make some little tweaks next week actually to make that a little bit more visible for you all. But so currently on board with RLL's Zach Campbell. As give Jeff a little bit of breathing room. He's got Williams tucked up behind him.
Yeah, and the guys just settling in now. Tyres will have warmed up by now, so they can just get into their rhythms and make sure they're hitting their marks. And it's just going to be a matter of anyone trying to capitalise on a mistake ahead. And there's the biggest gap between anyone in the top 15 is 6 tenths at the minute. In fact, the biggest gap in the whole field between any cars is 6 tenths, and that's between the first, second, and third. So just everybody is one long train as they work their way through the green hell.
I remember when I can't remember what season it was at the World Championship, and when it was the Grand Prix series, they were like, it's getting really competitive now, and it was back then. Nothing like this.
No. I mean, bit of a lock up ahead from maybe Seb, as I see him just running on touch deep. I'm not sure if it was Seb that locked up. Yeah, I mean, you're right. This is just a whole nother level, isn't it? I mean, back in the 2016 when I just about dragged myself kicking and screaming into the World Championship with the F1. That basically took a full-time job, granted. That basically took all of my time and commitment and patience with pounding endless laps and telemetry, and to just barely scrape myself into the World Championship. And I know that there would be no chance of being able to do that this year, last year, or probably the year before, just because of the level, like you say, is such a different position now. And certainly when the World Championship switched to the Porsche Cup car, I do think it obviously appeals to a broader pro racer, doesn't it? You know, a lot of people I think were never interested really in the F1 car, and we never saw them really go for the top level World Championships, whereas now we've got the F1 guys and, you know, people who've come from slightly different disciplines as well.
Yeah, I might have to retract my statement I made the other day to you, off air, about, if I put my mind to it, I could get in. I mean, I probably could, but it might be at the back right now.
Yeah, I mean, you say you were always a significant step ahead of me, so I think, like you say, you would be probably not competing the positions that you competed for in F1. You'd be on the grid for sure, yeah. Let's say just... It's what happens in any discipline, isn't it? You look at, athletics, the Olympics, whatever it might be, and just, world records every year gradually tick away more and more and more. There's nothing where, the fastest, the strongest, the highest, whatever was in the 70s. Every generation, it just gets taken more seriously and just always moves on. So no different here, I'd say.
We're going to have a quick look at
Gassi a little bit.
I'm going to quickly check in with Kev, because Kev's made up 5 spots. He's got a bit of gap in front of him now. He's got Benecki ahead of him. I don't know what happened to Benecki. So yeah, this is not particularly exciting, Alex, as for cars to pick. 1.5 seconds. Oh, someone just dropped down and Johan's picked up another. Oh, maybe.
Yeah, Johan's battling away. Yeah, side by side with Pecca the whole time.
Yeah. Maybe lost a couple more because that. Oh, Kev, with the air. But yeah, just wanted to see if he could just drag himself onto the back of Benecki.
Yeah.
So.
All it's going to take is a little bit of squabbling ahead, and he'll make up that half second and be back in the draft again. I'm seeing squabbling for P3 up ahead as well, so you're looking super close between back and Booterloop, Pinto at the front of the field. So I dare say we're going to see some action.
Oh, I think Johan's gone again.
Yeah, dropped to the back of the field, a couple of seconds off. Maybe got away with not being anything huge. No, his timing's frozen on my side, yeah.
Yeah, just having a look at the replay in the little mini window. Let's have a look. Oh, what hurt? That looked like a hardware failure.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's obviously getting up and having a look at what's going on, I think. So, very strange.
Yeah, just suddenly steered out of the corner.
Well, like you said, if Johan just has bad luck every round, it feels. What more can he do? So yeah, it'd be interesting to hear from him later on as to what exactly that was. But yeah, for sure something did not look right.
Oh, that's blown engine ahead. I think it's not. Seb with a blown engine. Oh, he's all over the place. Keep it out of the way. Everyone's through.
Wow, well, that's. I mean, you were right that Seb was out of the championship already, really, but that for sure cements any hope of a championship challenge out and gone. What an unusual occurrence in these.
Here's the replay on the mini picture. See what happened. It just went pop. Just absolutely on its own. Yeah. Oh well, Yep.
He did well. He did well not to then get caught up, or not to catch anyone else up. He kind of got out of the way, managed, like I say, on the grass, but managed to hang on to it. And again, this circuit, about how narrow it is, easily could have caused a big incident for other people. So, yeah, plus one for everyone basically on that lap as we now head on to the Doshinger, and let's see if anyone starts making some moves.
Yeah, come on, Jim. Let's mix it with these Coanda boys. They're having it all their own way at this minute. Just got Pinto in there now, just to.
I think Jamie's under pressure, actually. I think.
point. Oh yeah, from La Fuente. They are definitely side by side. Williams eSports. Nice to see. Well, okay, no, it's not nice to see, but he holds. Oh, he holds on to that. There was a weird shift thing going on there from Jim for a second. It didn't engage or something. But yeah. Please excuse me, Williams, for saying this, but they've just not been anywhere this season. You know, we haven't seen them in any race. You know, like one of the biggest esports sort of racing teams out there, and you want to see them kind of competing, and they've really seemed to struggle. Here comes La Fuente just diving up the inside of Jim. Jim going to hold it round the outside.
Maybe if we switch back to Jeff, you'll have a good view of them side by side the whole time.
Good call. There you go.
Right as the move's completed, but yeah, like I say, that was building for a little while. Like I say, La Fuente, was right in the gearbox for a little period. I don't think we really saw particularly any other changes on that one from the rest of the top 8. But yeah, 9th, 10th, 11th now, by the way, for Jamie, Jeff, and Zach, so all line of stand.
Check in with Zach as well. Kev has got onto the... Well, it's onto the back of Sedgwick now, because Benecki's got past Sedgwick as well, so... I'll just leave these guys to it for a moment. Let's go and have a look at Kev. Tell you what, we'll leave the mini-map on those ones, the mini-picture on those guys, so we can see, and... focus on Kev on the onboard. Just to really confuse the spectators.
Still can't understand the Sebastian Job issue on that lap. It'll be really interesting again to hear from them later on as to what they think the issue was. You know, was it? Well, are they going to put it down to some kind of iRacing bug, or is he going to say, oh well, I took damage and that's what it was, or was there some kind of issue? I mean, you can't over rev these engines, right? Because they've got a restriction on them. You can't just keep clicking away on the fluffy paddle.
No. What if he's overheated it? I mean, they do get a bit of air, so maybe he caught it on the landing a little bit. He's conked it or something like that. I don't really know. Just sort of grasping at straws, really. I think Kev's going to need to get Sedgwick a bit rapid here, because it seems like they're losing time.
Yeah.
I know how quick Jack is round here as well. He's very quick, so he's just not quite been there this season. Not sure who he's working with, but I think he's the only person from Inex.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, well, it's a little bit of a different machine for Jack to run here compared to the Audi RS3 that he runs in our Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. Oh, and movement up front as well, Alex. I've seen lots of pairs as they're all working their way through the right-hander on that one. So, not for our guys, I have to say, sorry, but yeah, actually, I got excited about overtaking in the top 10 positions.
Pinto up to second by the look of it.
Yes.
Yeah, so
three boys all line astern still.
Yeah, I think we'll take, if we can finish sort of there and Kev can get a few more spots, get some points, I think we'll take that for the day. Just guy for Johan again, 2 races. I mean, come on, hardware failure.
So unusual, for that to be coming across, and certainly the sort of equipment the guys have available to them. They're not using, basic consumer hardware or anything. So again, it'll be interesting to hear from Johan what the issue was, and Zach Campbell having a big moment on the exit curb, but gathers it all up and loses a 10th, if that. How these guys recover instances like that, Alex, I'll never know. The times I've driven not that I drive anymore, unfortunately, but the times I've driven the Porsche before, I've always just felt that once that rear end starts to go, that's it. You may as well just get your coat and head off, sort of thing. But somehow, not only do they gather it up, but they don't track out onto the grass as well.
Not losing much or anything. Yeah.
No, crazy. And struggling for Zach again. Zach went a little bit deep into the corner. Huge amount of opposite lock to keep it gathered up on the exit. and he's under lots of pressure now from David Williams. Fortunately, I think not on a bit of a circuit that David is going to be able to do much about it. But I wonder how much Zach is struggling versus kind of getting frustrated, or what the slight issue is. But yeah, I'm seeing kind of a number of corners on this lap where he's just overcooking it a little bit, kind of mid to exit, it seems like.
I don't know if you saw some of the memes and tweets and stuff like that Zach did this week or this fortnight. But yeah, he's not a fan of this place. Yeah.
No. I think that might be showing through a little bit at the minute. It seems. I mean, he's got the pace, obviously, you know, but he doesn't look comfortable. Doesn't look in sync with the car or the track at the minute, which makes it all the more confusing to me. That he's still able to run at this ultimate sort of pace around the top 10.
I think this comes down to what I said at the very start, that the guys expected this big train because the draft is going to pull them back towards each other. I mean, Jeff had dropped down to nearly a second back, and you know, in that little straight there, he picked up 0.3 of a second, and he's lost another tenth through that little complex there. Again, we're going to have a fairly high-speed section, so he'll again close back up to this this pack, because I imagine they're all lifting ahead to some extent. You know, when they're in the sort of faster sections.
Yeah.
There's just no way through.
And you were saying at the start as well that maybe we'd get, you know, a couple of ambitious sends as people, like say, don't want to take that lift and want to make that move and make that progress. But really, we've not particularly seen that. We've certainly not seen any instance beyond lap 1 for any cars really in either race so far. And it seems that for the most part, from what we've seen rather, yeah, people are being patient through all the twisties.
Yeah, give it 2 more laps, I reckon. Final lap of the feature. That's where it's going to get pasty. Yeah,
such
it was
a hard
it
hit
was
as they
there.
land
That
off
was
jump
wasn't
there.
that where we lost Seb?
I think so.
Like,
Yeah, he was on this corner. He moved to the right. So,
I think you can. I think you can land there.
Yeah,
a
did
bit
some
wrong.
damage.
Yeah.
The Jeff
If
and
you
Zach
don't
has
get
lost
out
a
of
little bit
it-
of time for that section actually.
Maybe if you don't get out of it when it's in the air, it kind of just revs it out too much and lands funny and causes some damage or something. Can't Jeff get back on him? Needs to get to sort of that half a second, so he's got that extra bit of draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice to see all the team livery turn up in Brazil for Jeff, which you can see him sporting, and Jamie.
How long did that take? How long did that take to cross the Atlantic?
Wasn't too bad actually. Do you know what?
Okay,
I think Jeff got his before Michele got his in Italy. I love Brexit.
Yeah. No, good. No, so it's nice to see all the guys kitted out now finally, and like I say, able to represent it as Zach is closing on Jeff. I wonder if he's going to
big change up front as well.
Zach's bump drafting. Zach's pushing Jeff, giving him a good old bump draft, trying to get him up to Luke a little bit more. So that was it was interesting. Bump drafting at 160 mile an hour in a Porsche Cup car.
Look at that, back down to 0.6 of a second.
Yeah.
Just because of the checkup, you know, all that front pack got really close. Rogers went to the front, like Pinto got past Ostergaard, and Rogers did them both.
And Zach bump drafting again.
Oh, they're side by side ahead. What's going on? Who's that? De Jong and
Yeah, let's go into, was it?
no, maybe Mac and Fuente then. Yeah, since pressure is on Jeff a little bit now, he needs to stay a bit closer to these guys.
Yeah.
This lap, if he is going to maybe even move forward, but I think if he doesn't, you're going to have like Kroenke and Carroll, who are now tucked up behind Zach. They're not going to hold back like Williams has done. Williams is a very cautious and fair, steady driver.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Cronky as well, actually. It's Graham who's going to just send one.
I'm impressed that, well, like I say, it's still early on in the race and people are biding their time and stuff, but I'm impressed that Pinto's still hanging on to that second spot and hasn't got shuffled down just a little bit more. You know, Rogers is the only person who's really made his way through the pack, of course, from his qualifying position. Everyone else, you know, he's +5. Everyone else
Sarika
is pretty much status quo.
Yeah, we're losing Sarika and Salva Allens. Both of them boys down and out. Let's have a look on the little... I did not want to click that one. Never mind. We'll get back to live in a second. But let's just see what it was. Meant to be the little mini one. It's made live with Jeff. Oh, poor Salva. Absolute innocent victim there.
Kevin's just lost a bunch of places. He was up to 16th or 17th. He's just got shuffled all the way back down to 23rd again, just in that during that replay. So, and he's stopping.
Oh, not. Come on.
So Kevin and Johan, both DNFs, both races, sprint and feature. Really unfortunate for both of them just not having the rub of it
today. That is the
today.
aftermath of it. That looks like Charlie Collins maybe in it. This is straight after the Sarika thing, I think. There's a little bit of touching with Charlie there. He's up the inside. Yeah. Just got a bit out of shape and...
yeah. Big oversteer moment, didn't get the drive off the corner, and Collins was there, So it looked, you know, interesting getting to hear what Kevin says, and maybe we take a different look at it later, but it looked a bit kind of just racing instant as, like I say, Kevin couldn't get off the corner as well as he wanted, and that just meant, Charlie didn't really have anywhere to go. So, yeah, and there were 3 again. Feels very much a repeat of race 1. Kevin and Johan out, Jamie, Jeff, and Zach, all line astern. 9th, 10th, 11th. Pretty much rinse and repeat from sprint race.
The Delta to stay up on screen. There we go.
So the trials and tribulations of the weekend just continue a little bit for the guys again after their disappointment for the lead car at Sebring 12 hour earlier on today, where they didn't really make it more than a couple of hours in, and now 2 of the 5 drivers having DNFs in both races for pesc. It's a tough weekend for a good chunk of the team, but if Jamie can maybe get a move done on La Fuente in the closing lap, he's going to be more than happy. I think it's getting well into the top 10, and we'll see if Jeff and Zach can do much to stick with him. As Zach again just all over the place. It looked like he took a bit more curb than he wanted on the apex. Ended up on the exit curb, but the cars ahead were avoiding, and it means Martin Cronke now is right underneath the rear wing of Zach as they work their way through the sweeping right-hander. Zach getting oversteer off the corner again as well.
Sit lock, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie and Jeff definitely need to have a little look.
Yeah, within half a tenth now. I mean, is there really anything he can do about it? Is a different question, but yeah, he just had a little bit of a lift end of the Cronky, I think, and settled back in. Yeah, the three team cars all just separated out a little bit through that section there. So like I say, we'll see how that Constantina effect kicks back in, and they if we draw back in together. Really interesting watching Jeff from Zach's car as they go through the carousel there, is how Jeff is just dabbing the brakes occasionally on midway through the corner just to control the pitch and the poise of the car, and all the modulation that the guys are having to do to get the very most out of these cars. Just interesting how they're having to deal with it.
yeah, of course, Jeff quite accustomed to this car. He's obviously driven it in real life as well. Had some success. I think he'd be driving it again this season, but I think it's just the age-old problem when it comes to real-life motor racing and its budget, you know.
Yeah, it's a tricky one for sure. I mean, yeah, again, it's what are you kind of supposed to do about it when you require such funds to do real racing, and then you have this kind of converse situation where sim racing is can be extremely affordable, and actually there's kind of decent prize money on offer within reach of the guys running it. It's a tricky conundrum to be in terms of where do you really put your time investment and energy and focus. Certainly know from some of the other guys where they're talking about just not even considering sniffs of opportunity in real racing, because why would they spend thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of pounds on real racing when actually they can make a profit, make a living from sim racing from a minimal investment. It's really going to be interesting how in 5 more years or so, when the next group of kind of what would normally be karters really start coming up through the ranks. How many people actually would have just done sim racing instead and never really rocked up into karting?
I think we're definitely, like you say, 5 years. I reckon we're going to reach that crossroads where the drivers have a choice, that you can make. It's either you focus on your sim racing career, or you focus on your eSports career, or you focus on your real one, and it's all going to come down to your marketing or your total ambition at the end. If you think I'm good enough to maybe make it into GT or something like that, and maybe it's more profitable, and there's more of a career in esports than there is trying to grab an AM driver to get you into a GT seat or something like that, to help fund you. But if you're good enough to get into F1, and perhaps like IndyCar and maybe NASCAR, those top tier series, then that's you're kind of all in for it. But I do worry actually if it's going to change the model of like real racing somewhat, because suddenly all these teams that are used to getting all this sponsorship money and things like that come in and paid drives, they're going to be like, on your bike, I'm going to go and race in this esports series where I can win the money that would get me the real drive rather than having to spend it. Still not there yet. Still, it's time, but that is where we're going. So, and I think that is why real teams and real drivers are starting to get involved in esports at this point, because they want to capitalize on that and try and still push people into real motorsport. Yeah,
I mean, it's an interesting one as to why sim racing isn't quite at the level of a number of other esports disciplines. You look at the Dotas and the CODs and the CSs of the world, and I bet if you looked at audience numbers for the biggest Dota events, I bet they put some huge global real sporting events to shame, and so that potential is out there for sure. It's kind of interesting as to why sim racing never quite managed to be on that same starting point, but like you say, it's going to just keep catching up further and further, and the potential is for sure there when you look at other esports.
I wonder what the chat's thinking at the moment about the conversation. Chip in on it, share your thoughts. How many years do you reckon we're going to see until we start to see a bit more of a mainstream kind of esports ecosystem, like League of Legends and stuff like that? Because I don't think we're that far away, that's for sure. There's Zach.
Pretty much been status quo, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Since we've been last kind of looking a little bit closer again. Jamie, Jeff, Zach, all line astern. They did all obviously close up again after they got drawn apart. We're on the final lap now, so another sort of 6.5, 7 minutes to go before they get back round.
Let's check in with Jim, because I feel like if one of them is going to make a move, it might be Jamie. Seems a bit more confident. He's been on the tail of La Fuente for quite a while, where sort of Jeff seemed a little bit more like he's hanging on.
Yeah. I think so. I think Zach is feeling a little bit held up by Jeff, and Jeff, like I say, is struggling just to keep on the coattails of Jamie. But of course, on top of that, being teammates, neither Jeff nor Zach can really make a move on the car in front without, mistake from the car in front, probably. Jamie's the one
team
that
orders
can be a
though. I'll
bit
point
more
that out
ruthless.
just in case
absolutely.
anyone was thinking these
you're
guys
right.
are free to race. So if they want to go for it, they can. They're free to go for it.
Yeah.
The only rule we have in the team is don't put your teammate in a position where it's going to cause a crash. So
Yeah,
I think
all
that
the
is
Fuente, very deep.
Yeah.
Jamie's going to get a good run off the corner.
he got a little bit out of shape as well.
Yeah, I think he just clipped the apex, did it look like, from my view. So, yeah, La Fuente had a big moment, and Jamie maybe not quite able to capitalise it. But no, like you say, for sure they're allowed to race, but it's, do you make a do or die move on your teammate? Well, unless you're... I was debating as to which historic F1 terrible teammate partnership to go for. Unless you're Alonso and Hamilton, or something like that. I think you tend to.
I'm old enough
bit more
that you can go with the Senna and Prost one, mate. It's all good.
Yeah, that's it. Those are my two. Yeah. I was catering to our audience, Alex.
Ah, true. In that case, then you want to go Hamilton and Rosberg there.
Yeah. Who? Yeah.
Yep, Dennis reckon in 2 or 3 years before it really explodes. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I mean, you look at the last 12 months. I mean, what planet might we be on in 3 years? I mean, who knows? I mean, obviously this year, the last 12 months, last year, was a exceptional one, an unusual one with the situation in the world in general. But iRacing, certainly sim racing as a whole, took a unprecedented step in 12 months is what I was saying, but I mean it was in a month basically. Who knows where that's going to end up in 3 years? I mean, we're thinking about that sort of stuff. We're projecting and coming up with business plans and things. So we're trying to guess as to where it's going to head in 3-5 years. But who really knows? Ronke having a very, very hard look at Zach again through exactly the same section of the lap that he did lap before as well. But same thing, just not really an opportunity for him to do anything other than just put Zach under as much pressure as he possibly can. And again, we'll see how much Zach can just close onto the back of Jeff again as they come through the next section. Time ticking away now, less than half a lap to go.
I don't know if Kev's watching the stream. I don't know if he wants to get himself jumped in. Maybe. I mean, I know we're only half a lap to go, but come in just for the last half of the lap. Have a little chat with him. He's out of his seat at the moment, so probably not listening.
And Zach's got himself all over the back of Jeff again, just through that last section, so he really gained a lot of time to crawl his way back to the gearbox again. Just having a quick look at the front. I mean, we'll see again how it all pans out as they work their way onto the Dossinger Straight in a moment, but nothing looking super close at the front. Josh Rogers looking fairly comfortable still, with his teammate Oscar just running rear gunner a little bit, maybe behind him. So
see, I feel like Tommy's going to have to go though. I mean, he's 8/10 actually, so he's probably all right. Actually, I think, thinking about that, because otherwise Pinto will certainly make a move. But yeah, he's not going to catch up 1.1 seconds on Rogers on that final straight. So I think you're right. I think fairly safe. Depends how close Ostergaard can get through this section. If he can get that down to like 4/10, something like that, it becomes a bit tricky for them to manage as a team. Sure, Phil will be on it. Wide for La Fuente. Jamie as close as he's going to be, I think. Good exit here. Oh, that's nice. On Jim, get him under a bit of pressure. Get this exit.
You can see the absolute focus that Jamie has got in his camera there. He's just putting everything he's got in to make sure he hits his marks and gets as much out of the car as he can. And this is it. Is it going to be any draft? enough draft.
2 tenths and 6 tenths to Mac. That's the difference, you see. So Jim will definitely get a better run than La Fuente here, but it's whether or not he can get alongside. Yeah, Rogers looks safe. He's still 4 tenths clear. Come on, Jim.
Squad's going to be under pressure. Yeah, here we go. Has a look to the
Fuente
left.
defending.
Moves across just slightly.
I think that's where you want to be, to be honest, to defend, isn't it? On the outside, this could end in disaster. So. This is always a nasty place. Ooh. Yeah.
Jamie just backs out of it, just barely hanging on for dear life. Had a good old go of it, did Jamie on the last lap there, but not quite enough. And gets a good run off the last corner though, but the start-finish line is going to come a little bit quicker.
It's too close. Damn. Lucky Jim.
Yeah, was not far off. We're just snatching that off the last corner there. And actually, Kroenke ended up super close to Zach as well, 400ths off on the line. So there we go. They did keep it as they were, really, 9th, 10th, and 11th. But yeah, almost position made for Jamie Fluke, and almost position lost for Zach Campbell off the final corner there. Yeah, Kevin and Johan nowhere to be seen, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunate for them.
So we never really saw any do-or-die moves on that last lap, Alex. Nobody was desperate enough to, right, here we go, this is it, I don't want to be stuck in this position, I can get past and send it. Everybody seemed heads pretty well kind of screwed on. I wonder how much of that actually was kind of a situation that we were in, where we had teammates 9, 10, 11. Coanda had teammates 3, 4, 5, 6. And 7, sorry, counting Matt Backham in the Technic car. Yeah, maybe that was a fair chunk of it, actually. There wasn't really the mixing up of the teams where people were prepared to really send it on someone.
Yeah, maybe. Right, let's have a quick look then and see on the seeing this oh yeah, just was there contact from behind?
So there was actually contact initially. Well, there was, was it? I was going to say, there was contact initially, like a bit of a hip check between the two of them. And then, yeah, was there contact after that, not from Collinson?
Having a little look. See.
Yep. Who is it behind? Beneke?
No,
it wasn't contact behind.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, they just got a little bit out of shape.
Out of shape, yeah. That was unfortunate for Kev. Yes, he looks happy with his 10th place, getting that top 10.
Smile on his face there. Jeff always happy.
Yeah, that Latino spirit.
Right, let's have a look at this isn't exactly what happened to Johan. This is right at the start.
On the outside, Kevin around him as well. Or got a little bit of a check up.
Yeah, that wasn't. That was just.
I
was just having a little look at something going on. But right, this is where it says he crashed. This was the checkup, actually, wasn't it? Right, and then we've got the. And then it was just going to be this off track. There's nothing else going on. Side by side. Not sure who that was. He was side by side with. I think it was Thomas.
Oh, just run out of road.
Oh.
Well, okay.
It's
so
narrow.
That wasn't it.
That was just the off track.
Yeah. Very, very lucky to keep it held, and not only keep it held on track, but still kept side by side for so long with the red line car as well.
Right. So yeah, so I can't see anything then really for Johan. So he just comes in here and then it just spears off to the right. Bang.
Yeah. So yeah, it just went dead straight. So like I say, hardware failure for sure. It seems like wasn't a connection issue. Yeah, it seemed like hardware, absolutely. Oof. If you didn't have bad luck, you'd have no luck.
Yeah. Right, let's see if we can get a few of the guys in for a little chat. While we're doing that, let's go and have a little check-in with our Apex Racing Academy promo video. We'll be back in just 2 minutes. Helps if I bring the audio back in. That was just for me, just to get some scenes ready. Yeah, we haven't got anyone yet. That's the only thing. So come on, lad. Let's have you. I might give him a bit of a poke and a prod with a stick.
And yeah, whilst we're having a little bit of a wait for them, I'm just looking at the championship standings pre-race and thinking how I think Kevin is going to be pretty distraught with the fact that he wasn't able to capitalise today. So Kevin was P4 heading into the round. Seb ahead of him in P2, obviously DNF in the main. Charlie Collins was obviously the car that he had contact with in the main as well, so he was P5 behind him, so he could have closed a lot on Seb, or maybe even just leapfrogged him slightly. What's the point for the main? So he could well have leapfrogged Seb if he got a good result. Beneke didn't really do a huge amount today, so he was 2 positions back. So again, he could have gapped him quite nicely. Sanchez got taken out in race in the sprint or in the main, I forget. So if Kev had got a couple of good solid top 10s, even a top 5 as we've seen from him earlier in the season, he would have really been in a good strong position to try and get a top 3 spot in the championship. It really would have been only De Jong who would have had a good race and or a good meeting, and everyone else around him, Job, Collins, Beneke, Sanchez, all would have had issues. So unfortunate for Kevin, it wasn't able to capitalise. But you could look at it the other way and say equally he hasn't really lost out much. I guess it's only De Jong who's scored points, and so it's kind of maybe a bit status quo for heading into the final 2 rounds.
Yeah, exactly. God, I can't believe the season's almost over. That is crazy. Just on the Sim Racing wiki as well. Just wait to see how quickly they update it. Come on, Jon, get on it. Let's have it. Right. While we do that, we've got a few guys now waiting for interview. I've got my cameras ready with Zach. He's in the middle of conversation, so I'm just gonna whip him up and just go surprise. Hi, Zach.
Hello.
How you doing, mate? Thanks for jumping in for a quick chat. Just talk us through that race. We know what you thought of this place all week long.
Yeah. That was a struggle. That was probably about kind of the worst I've felt in race. Yeah, I mean, it's just been a struggle to get my bearings around here. Obviously, it's super hard, and this is the first time I've ever been to this track, so it's it's been quite a struggle. But I mean, to come home P11, it's not, I feel bad because it's like it's P11, here, but at the top level. But it's like I felt like we had a little more in that. I banged out a pretty good lap in warm up, and then just did not in qualifying. I mean, just really kind of struggled there. But just to bring it home with some decent points. I don't know where we are in points right now, but I think we got some decent points. We came home with a good day. I think we made the best out of the situation that we had. And that's really all you can ask for at some points.
I mean, talk about qualifying and looking at how this race panned out. I'm guessing really it all comes down to quali here. Especially the feature. Like we expected to see a few more moves, things like that, but just didn't look like it was really possible for people. You come under a little bit of pressure from Conky a couple of times, but again, it was just a bit too risky for him, so he lifted out. So yeah, really that reverse grid, getting that 8th spot. You see Tommy up there in the feature at 3rd. That kind of made all the difference. And I'm guessing, for quali, if you bang yourself in those top 3, 4, you're probably going to be there at the end of the race type thing.
Yeah, I mean that's just kind of how the series is. I felt like here maybe there was kind of more potential to move around. We weren't as draft locked because the draft does change the closer you get to cars in front. So I felt like there was the opportunity to make a move, and I think if you're up front, it was actually going to be a little easier than being back in 10th, 11th. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of quali at that point. I didn't feel like I had the race pace, but I felt like my Q pace could have been a little better. Uh, the lap that I did in warm up for the race would have put me P4 on the grid instead of P13 where I ended up. So I think that was just what I missed a little bit. Um, you know, I mean, I think genuinely that was probably just it. And it's unfortunate, but it's just kind of how the series is, and we got a little trapped. But yeah, I mean, you got to make the best of those situations that we ended up, and obviously we came into some luck with Thomas having some issues there with his internet connection and Seb blowing the engine. And so I think that helped us a little bit. Um, yeah, it's overall a good day. You know, it's hard to be disappointed, but I feel like we should. I feel like I want a little more now.
I'm looking at the championship sort of standings pre this round because it's not updated yet. So you've got Graham just in front of you, like 5 points ahead. You know, he obviously had to start from the back, so you beat him in both races. Dane had a good day out there. Obviously, he was just a couple more points up the way. Sanchez, don't know what happened to Sanchez. Don't know if you guys.
Lap one.
Oh, did he?
He got he got taken out at lap one.
So yeah, so you've reeled some points in on Sanchez. Same with Benecki, you managed to reel points in as well. Charlie Collins too. Kev had a bad day. You know, Seb had a bad day. You know, you've actually closed the points on most people in the top 10. So you like you say, even though you're like, you know, I'd like to be 11th place, but actually it's not a bad day at the office in terms of that. And we're only 2 rounds left of the championship now. So you know, there's a good chance maybe of pulling a top 5 in your rookie season.
Yeah, no,
no pressure.
I feel like, I feel like top 10's the goal. You know, there are a lot of really good guys up there. You know, it's a little hard kind of to describe, but it's just, you know, we've moved on from kind of the early season when I was having trouble with getting in accidents. When I was kind of in and around when I wasn't very happy with qualifying. So that's honestly just been the biggest change is, you know, coming home, you know, a little outside the top 10. And it's just making the most out of these days. You know, I can say I'm not happy, but like you said, the bottom line is I think we closed in on a few guys in front of us. I think we probably lost a spot to Tommy in points. But, you know, we closed in on the guys in front. And I really think that now we're going into the Le Mans Monza, which are about as big a lottery as we can get. So yeah, I think anything goes these last 2 weeks. I know I'm not very comfortable at either of those tracks, even more so than
Monza, is it?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So probably I'd consider 2 out of my 3 worst tracks on iRacing. So it'll be interesting. You know, I haven't driven either in Porsche or done anything like that, so it'll be a little interesting to see. I think we just got to make the best out of what we have, and then yeah, after that, I think we can really challenge those guys up in front of us. Now that now that we finally finished 3 races in a row, so.
Yeah. Awesome, thanks, mate. I won't keep you any longer. So yeah, good job today. Obviously, good luck next round, and I'm sure we'll catch you on that one. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before we let you go?
Obviously, my spotter Christopher Demerit, who does a great job in just keeping me calm, keeping me level-headed. Just yeah, I mean he kind of saved me there one time when I got kind of caught up in the heat of the battle and just reminded me to be smart. We're here for points, and it's not worth losing 13th place over. So yeah, he does a great job. Everyone at RLL, obviously, everyone at RLL Esport, Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing, they do just a fantastic job supporting us. And we always really appreciate everything they can bring to us. And yeah, who else? Apex Racing Academy, SDK Gaming, all our sponsors. Yeah, just overall a good day, and I've been getting happier the more this interview has gone on. So I'm happy.
Cheers, Zach. Thanks very much. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and yeah, we'll catch you next round.
Yep. See you guys. Hopefully, hopefully I can be just a little more happy next round. So.
Touching wood. Right, who should we go for next? Jamie, who'd you fancy?
Yeah, let's bring in Mr. Fluke. That sounds good.
Okay. Over to you.
Hey Jamie, congratulations on your top 10 in the main. It looked pretty tough for everyone out there on track, both in the sprint and in the main. What are your thoughts? I mean, it seemed like there wasn't really much more you could do. You had a couple of good goes at La Fuente, but wasn't quite enough on the last lap there.
Yeah, pretty much. So sprint race, everyone was kind of just scrambling to keep up with Josh out front, and when the front three guys were so quick that everyone was just desperately hanging on to draft to stay there. So there wasn't really an awful lot going on. And then second race, like the first 2 laps was really hectic and chaotic with the reverse grid and the not quite as quick guys up front. So it all kind of bunched together a bit, and Daniel got me into turn 1 on lap 2. From there, I was just sitting waiting for something to happen because I just wasn't quite quick enough to manufacture anything. I think they might have been a little bit quicker in a straight line, the Williams car at least, just with how tight I was behind them on the final lap and couldn't get far enough ahead at the end to make the move stick. It was a little disappointing because I thought I'd done everything that I needed to, but yeah, it was a game of chicken and I lost at the end because I eventually had to back out. But you know, I need the points. I also thought he needed the points, but he was willing to risk more, so you know, fair play to him.
And then even then, it looked like coming off the final little corner, coming onto the GP straight, you almost had a little sniff come into the line. If only it was in a more traditional place, more where the start line is. Yeah,
exactly. I had to run on him coming off the final corner, but no, the finish line unfortunately came up a little too early. But 2 top 10s is more than I was expecting coming into this. Nordschleife has never been my happiest of hunting grounds. It's not a track that I'm overly comfortable at. So despite the hours put in, there's always still, you know, glaring little weaknesses that, you know, I'm trying my best to iron out. Hopefully I masked them well enough today, but yeah, it's all the points on the board. It's one step closer to next season. So truthfully, I can't be too disappointed.
Absolutely. It always blows my mind talking to you guys in, you know, the highest level of road iRacing, finishing in the top 10. I had the same conversation with Zach a minute ago, and you're saying how you're not comfortable on the circuit. You know, yeah, how are you not comfortable, and yet you're running in at top 10 pace in the highest level of iRacing? It's crazy stuff. Just to change the subject slightly, Jamie, any theories as to how Seb might have blown his engine on was it lap 2?
Yeah. So I've seen guys do this before where they've hit the downshift as they've come over the jump, and it'll drop in gear because you're in the air. The engine protection doesn't work, so whenever he's landed, it's just as soon as he's gone back to throttle, it's just ripped the nuts off it and blown the engine. Truthfully, I did almost the exact same thing coming into the final little complex down in Tiergarten, where I grabbed 5th, like immediately just as I came over like the smallest of little crests, and car just went light, and I pulled the downshift paddle at the same time, and almost half a lap later or a quarter of a lap later did the exact same thing. So I was lucky to get away with that one.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you did. Thanks for the insight as to that one. I hope your Twitch stream enjoyed your top 10 finishes today.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, they absolutely did. I'm going to assume that Zach covered sponsors because he was in here for quite a while.
You can consider that ticked off, so that's fine.
Yeah, all right, cool. But yeah, thanks guys for putting on the
Before you go, Jamie, points have just been updated actually, so you're up to 16th.
Oh, excellent. I'm not up to 16th. That's where I was.
Okay, well, sorry. Well, you closed in. Maybe you didn't close in then, because Pinto obviously had a good meeting this week, but you're 1 point behind him. And then, yeah, so who perhaps did you jump ahead of then? So Sindre?
Probably Sindre, yeah. He had a race ban, so I was able to sneak ahead there.
Okay.
Yeah,
so 1 point to 1 point to Pinto then. So yeah, getting a bit tasty with the last couple of races in there. Obviously, not the season you've wanted at all.
No.
So yeah, but a bit of a buffer to that dreaded top 20 now.
Yeah, to be fair, that's kind of what I've been looking at from about round 2 or round 3 with the struggles I've had at the very start of the season. So I'm trying to make up for as much lost ground as I can, but not trying to overextend and overreach myself, just making sure I get the job done, and we'll rebound again for next season. But the last 2 rounds are tracks where I've traditionally, even though I'm not a huge fan of either Le Mans or Monza, I've got myself up at the sharp end more often than not. So maybe we can mount some sort of challenge towards top 10 or close to it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, awesome. And before you go, actually, Jim, I just want to ask you, like, did Johan have hardware failure?
I don't know. I haven't yet spoken to him.
Okay.
I wasn't in the same channel.
Okay. Yeah,
in
it was just
NGS
coming
to
through the
know.
carousel and then suddenly just went straight. It was like, what? So, yeah.
I would
we
assume.
assume,
So, maybe
we assume that's what it was. So
yeah.
Okay, all right, lovely stuff. Thanks, mate. Yeah, good job today, and yeah, we'll catch you next round.
Excellent. Thanks very much.
So yeah, interesting then, Alex, that your suggestion was exactly right for Seb's blown engine. Then it was, let's say, gear shift. We think when in midair.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, hit that. Hit the deck as he come down and just revved it out and bang. Yeah. Right, last but not least, Mr. Jeff Giassi. Hello, sir.
Hey, good evening.
How you doing? Nice to see that smile on screen.
Yeah, I'm really happy. Was not expecting this top 10 at all, and just the toughest track for me of the entire iRacing platform. So to get a top 10 around this track in such a good competition level, I just feel really happy.
Yeah, I mean, it looked from times, if I'm being honest, that you perhaps you were struggling a little bit out there to hold on to the guy. Zach even giving you a bit of a bump draft to make sure you stay with them. Things like that. But yeah, so good bit of work. I mean, I guess it was tricky for you because you were right in the middle of 2 teammates. So you couldn't really do anything all race long.
Yeah, I really need some points for this championship. So I was not planning to risk. So to be around 2 teammates was actually good because I felt safer. And Zach helped me a lot doing lots of bump drafting, not trying to pass me so we could stay with the field. So he was really helpful to help me to get this top 10. He didn't try to go for a move at any point, so that was amazing. But yeah, I just feel really happy, and it was tough to keep up with the guys. Really struggling a bit. As I said, this is my the track that I find the hardest for the way I drive, but it's still really good in the end to get a P12 and a top 10 in the future. It just feels really amazing, and starting to look forward for the next race, which is a track that I love. So looking forward for the Le Mans race. Yeah.
Awesome. So where were you before the start of this race? Because you're now 17th, so you've gone past Sindre as well. In the standings, so 144 points. Got a few points clear of him. Jamie just ahead of you in the championship in 16th. And then Cronky behind Sindre as well. So tough crowd around you in there.
Yeah, I was P17.
So okay.
Yeah, I just stayed P17. Last race was very tough, both for me and Zach. P1 and 2 in the race and getting wiped out, but we are working our way back here at the Nordschleife, so that was good, and looking forward for the next one. And also I want to say a big thank you for Mateus, new team member, which helped me a lot on understanding what I was doing wrong with my driving. From one day to another, I suddenly became 1 second quicker around this track, which means a lot when you're driving with such a high level competition. So he really helped me, and I'm really happy to get a top 10 for the team.
Yeah, huge amount of time to find. Before you go, I've got a couple of questions. What are the trophies for in the background, mate?
So the screen I can see myself, it's the one on the right. So this is from the Porsche Tag Heur Brazil, and this one it's from the real life Porsche Tag Heur Brazil. All the others are from the Porsche Tag Heur Brazil Sim Racing. Nice. And I just love those trophies. That one, this one right there, It's when I had a chance to do a real life race, and it was just an amazing weekend.
We were talking about that today actually on the stream as well. So.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, it was really amazing. I got a chance to drive the real car, first qualify in the GT car, and I got the pole, so that was amazing. And finished. Was leading the entire race, but a safety car dropped us to P4. But still amazing, still a very good result, and really proud of the journey that I've been having.
And so my very last thing as well, you know, you have all this Latin fashion and stuff like that. I see you sporting some rather snazzy Apex team gear there. Do you want to give us a little show and tell?
Oh, the gear?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is my new Apex shirt. Really amazing with the Apex logo here, SDK logos, and all those sponsor logos, VRS as well. And so thank you a lot for this new shirt. I really love it, and I also got a jacket, but it's pretty hot today, so I'm not wearing it.
I will let you off.
Yeah, but it's really an amazing equipment.
Awesome. Right, mate. Thanks very much for your time today. Glad to see you happy. You know, it's been a couple of races, so yeah. Let's hope we have a similar kind of interview in a couple of weeks' time when we're at Le Mans.
Yeah, hopefully. See you guys in 2 weeks, and hopefully with another smile on my face.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, so great to catch up with the guys, and like I said, nice that we had the championship points updated so promptly as well. So you can apologise to Yawn for not actually being slow off the mark as it turned out.
Yep.
It's super close now between Kevin, Dane Warren, and Charlie Collins for that 4th spot. 5 points between the 3 of them. When there's 300 odd points scored, 50 points for a main race win. That's going to be really interesting to see how that turns out for the top 4. I think we're going to see the top 3 staying out of reach for Kevin, with him 62 points down on Seb with just those 2 rounds for individual races to go.
I've got to ask, 515 points for Rogers. Dion on 388. Is he just won the championship today? I think he might have done.
150 points is what's available, I guess, right? Plus maybe plus 10 for also 170 points between the 2 races. So it's still
not quite there. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, looking more and more likely, I would say.
Yeah, I mean it's just a crazy. Again, you look at how tight the rest of the field is, and for him to have 127 point gap or something is pretty crazy. When there's like then 10.5, 5.00, 12 all the way down. He's just shows how he's dominated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 race wins through the season so far after 16 individual rounds. It's a pretty crazy hit rate.
Yep. Yeah, indeed. Right, thanks, mate. For this one, thank you for everybody watching as well. I guess Jim must have just hosted us, did he, or something like that? Because we've got a whole bunch of people just suddenly tuning in. But yeah, so thank you for all of those. I guess we'll catch you. Is it next week? Or is it 2 weeks' time? Can't remember now.
We have got another week gap, so yeah, I believe 2 final rounds are both every other week. And so yeah, so for Jim's channel, not that we want to try and pull you away from Jamie's stream, of course, but for the pesc shows, yeah, you can get an onboard view of all the ART guys and the RL guys. So maybe have Jamie on your primary and us on a secondary to keep an eye on the rest of the guys as well. That sounds like a good plan going forward, I reckon.
Awesome. Right then. Right. Thank you all, and yeah, I will pass it over to our Academy advert to sign us off for the evening, and wish you all a good weekend.